All right, welcome to Money Club Mondays, webinar by the Private Money Club. Today's November 1st, 2021. So hope everybody had an awesome Halloween weekend and didn't eat too much candy like me. I feel about half sick today from all the candy and fun times over the weekend, but always something good. So back to business here on this Monday afternoon for me here on the East Coast and Monday morning for those of you guys out West. So today we're going to get into the Private Money Club, and I have a special guest today, a new member to the Private Money Club. He's going to be a VIP borrower. So what that means is people that join the Private Money Club that are in our immediate network. So Levi and his partner, Charles, I've known for several years. I've done business with them. I've done events with Charles in the past, and he runs multiple real estate investment association meetings across the country and is part of the National RIA Association. Has been in real estate for, 20, 30 years. And Levi, who is with us today, is one of Charles' partners. They do lots of deals together. I'll let Levi talk more about that here in just a second. So before I bring Levi on, though, let me just show you guys. So last week, anybody that's in the Private Money Club, you guys should now be migrating over to privatemoneyclub.com. Okay, so Slack and everything we've been doing on Slack and Teachable is all getting moved over to privatemoneyclub.com. So it is in beta phase right now. Let me just pull it up real fast just so I can show you guys. So when you go here, you're going to see the beta over it. And the reason for that is because we're still working out the kinks and everything. Anytime you have new technology, we built this site from the ground up. Okay. So we hired a tech team. We told them what we wanted to happen, and they built the whole thing out for us from the bottom up. So there's going to obviously be some little, bugs and stuff like that that'll pop up. So those of you that are joining this, if you're already a Premier paid member, you're going to have Premier access. If there's also a free member option on here that lets you watch some of the videos and just kind of take a look around the page and whatnot. So you can join for free. And then what you'll do is you'll upgrade to the Premier membership once you actually want to be able to look at deals and network with the other members and things like that. So when you log in, you'll have, let's see if it saved me on here. So you'll have all, you get a username and password. You can log in there. And then as soon as you get in, there's some different videos. I think this is the free membership here. That's why it says join Premier. So you see the different videos, there's up here on the Connect tab, there's training videos on here. The 4-week masterclass is good. And this is where we're adding tons of content right now. If you're a borrower, this is where you're going to create your new listings. So anybody that's looking for money for deals, you'll log in here, create a new listing, and make sure you complete your perfect loan proposals. We've done trainings on that in the past as well. So make sure you watch those. And if you're a borrower, get that perfect loan proposal created. And then that way, if somebody sees your listing and they're interested in and want more information, you can get them over the perfect loan proposal. That'll allow them to learn even more about you. And then if they decide they want to do business, you guys can connect either via email or through messaging on here, and you guys can start working out the terms and the details for that deal. That's where the negotiating comes in, and talking about what the borrower is looking for, what you're looking for as the lender, and make that happen. Lenders, you can start looking for deals. Take different notes. If you want passive income, there's some funds in here right now. Turnkey rentals, we'll be adding a wholesale section on here very, very soon as well. And just different tools and resources. We have different sample notes and contracts, the file vault, all that good stuff. And then all the different services. So if you need contract services, you need help with a promissory note, anything like that, we have deals worked out with attorneys that can help you, and they work in all 50 states. And just a nice quick place to access Money School TV, which is the coaching we do each month, the private Facebook page, different upcoming events that we're doing, all of our weekly webinars. So that way you can just stay around, continue to learn, educate. The more you know, the more confidence you're going to have, and the more, you're going to want to go out there and actually, lend somebody $100,000 or lend somebody $200,000, $300,000 on a deal. When you have the confidence and the education to do that, and knowing you're doing it the right way, you're going to, be a lot more apt to actually make that move and make it happen, as opposed to, oh, cool. So you can get little friendship requests here. So it looks like Julie just sent me a friendship request. So we have lots of new features that they're adding every day. But log in, check it out, join as a free member. If you're a Premier member, email me and we'll upgrade you internally. You don't have to pay again or anything like that. So But yeah, check it out and we'll go from there with everything. So let me stop the share. So with that being said, yeah, for a free membership, still create a login. Yes, because you'll create the login and then from there you can upgrade the membership and you'll get access to everything else if you want to. All right. So with that being said, Levi, are you here, my friend?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's happening? How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. You too. All right, I can hear you well. So Levi, so I know I met you, I don't know, probably maybe 2-3 years ago now, and one of Charles' events, and you were kind of just getting into real estate, right? You're a realtor, maybe, and just getting into the investing side. And I know you and Charles have been able to do a bunch of deals together now, and you guys have been rocking and rolling. So, like a lot of new investors, you start getting a bunch of deals done, and then you kind of run into that thing where you're getting so big and you're doing so many deals where you need to find alternative financing. Like the banks just, for whatever reason, can't keep up with your deal flow. So whenever that happens, the natural progression is to start using private money to bridge that gap. And so Levi's doing a lot of deals with the BRRRR method. So buying them, seasoning them and getting them done with private money and then refinancing them through the bank, 3 to 6 months later. That kind of deal that we've been talking a lot about with the BRRRR strategy. So Levi's been doing a lot of that, but they're also open to partnering with people on deals and sharing the equity and long-term financing and stuff like that too. So, that's what I love when it comes to a borrower, somebody that's like, let's figure out what makes most sense for both of us and create that win-win situation. But Levi, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about, your background, your journey getting into real estate investing and kind of, how you got to where you are now, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Well, yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Excited to be here. I think it's awesome what you guys are putting together. And that was kind of, first glimpse for me, just seeing what you guys have constructed. And I think it's so super, super valuable to have everything all in one place, right? Because, some of us can find the deals, some of us can find the money, some of us have the experience, right? But when you're actually consolidating all of that into one place, I think it's awesome what they're doing for you guys here. So, but yeah, in terms of me, like Steven said, I had the pleasure of meeting him about 3 years ago, actually at an event that my partner was actually putting on here in Cape Canaveral. For those of you guys who don't know, it's kind of a quaint beach town, real close to the cruise terminals, as well as the famous Ron Johns, 24-hour Ron Johns. And I got into real estate investing probably about 3 years ago. And, ever since I've just been doing wholesale deals, flips, and then now myself personally, am getting into buy and holds. And my partner, as he mentioned, some of you guys may know him, some of you guys might not. I'm not sure where everybody's from, but he has been in the game a long time. And so, yeah, man, we're just excited to be here representing Charles and myself and talking a little bit more about what we got going on, because you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a place to put it, we all know that problem.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the biggest problems right now is, there's so much equity out there right now in people's homes. That equity just sitting in the rafters is doing nothing. So tap into that equity, get that line of credit or the home equity agreement and put that money to work. $100,000 put to work at 12% is $1,000 a month rolling into you. Through an equity agreement, maybe a little bit less if you're arbitraging it with the payment back of the actual HELOC loan, but that's free money that's coming in. What's an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month? It's a car payment or whatever, right? So, totally. It's a beautiful thing. And then, so many people I talk to every day right now are pulling money out of the stock market. It's just, we're hitting all-time highs every day. History tells us we're not going to hit all-time highs forever, and it's not always going to go up. Like there's going to be a correction, it's going to come down. And if you need that money right then, like if you're young like us, Levi, we can wait 30 years to let a stock market do its thing, right? Which I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't believe in that anyways, but that's what they've been taught, right? Just let it go. But what if you're 5 years from retirement or 3 years, or you need it right now, right? That money's gone. So you got to get it the hell out of there, but you can't let it sit because we're in 5.4% or whatever inflation, and real inflation double digits, and it's getting crazier and crazier every day. So you got to get that money moving. There's no interest at the banks. Their savings accounts pay 0.1%. I mean, and then, a lot of our students, at least Levi, are dumping their money in money multipliers, especially design and engineer whole life insurance policies, which is great because they have that guaranteed uninterrupted interest inside there, tax-free. But the power of infinite banking is taking that money and keeping it moving at all times, right? Currency is called currency because it has to move to work. So we need to keep that money moving. And so and because of the real estate market we're in right now, it's hard to find good deals. So, people like you, Levi, that are so experienced and have been doing this now for a while, that have the systems in place, you're finding deals like, our guys like Chris Root and Justin Colby and Devin Burr and these other premier, VIP borrowers that we work with, they're finding deals, but they've been doing it forever. So they have the systems, the marketing in place. So there's deals out there. It's just a lot harder. And, like someone like myself and a lot of our lenders on here, they have their lives, they have their jobs and their, and their careers. And so they don't want to go out there and start a whole nother business, but they got to keep that money moving. So if you bringing us like these types of solid deals is just so valuable. Sorry not to go on a rant, but
an important rant. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. I think you hit it on the nail on the head. The biggest challenge right now is, do you want to go out there and be the person who takes 2-3 years like myself to build the systems and the processes? I have a team of 6 people now who look for these deals, acquire these deals. Or do you want to stick to your lane and do whatever you do for your job, continue to make great income, have a steady paycheck, and figure out how to creatively deploy that money into real estate deals? So you're still getting the exposure, right? But you're not having to do quite as much legwork to acquire them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, all right, cool. So you guys have some deals going on right now, right? That you're looking for funding and stuff on. So let's dig into that. But before we get there, I guess, so you were doing a lot of wholesale deals, right? And that's where you have the marketing. And then you started doing some of your own flips. I know where you guys have a really powerful team of contractors up in the Space Coast where you are. And now you're getting into some of the long-term holds. And that's what this play is, right? On this current investment.
Correct. Yeah. So this is, there's kind of, we'll get into it, but there's 2 pieces to this. There is kind of like a long-term equity position, and you will have the opportunity to essentially be a partner of myself and Charles, so you're going to get the exposure, obviously, to somebody who's been in the game for 20 years. And then also the side of myself who is focused on sort of building a little bit more modern systems into things and figuring out how to find those deals. But yeah, I mean, we can get into that specific deal. Obviously, we also do fix and flips, which is pretty standard, but
Yeah, I know. And I know you, whenever you have one pop up, just put them in the deal. And those are like all the other deals that we do as far as the fix and flips. I mean, typically going to be short-term, wholesale, like not a lot of work involved. I see what you guys do all the time on social media. So it's, I know you guys stay very busy with new deals all the time. And, where they live in the Space Coast around where, it's Cape Canaveral. So it's where, Elon Musk is shooting off all of SpaceX. If any of you guys are friends with me on Facebook, I always post the pictures and the videos because I watch them here from my backyard as well. I can see them up where you guys are. So it's, but it's a great area. I mean, it's a growing area. There's a lot going on there right now. So it's a great spot to be investing in what you guys are doing. So there's a lot of older houses, I feel like, around that area too, that you guys are able to go in and kind of bring up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the inventory is definitely maturing. We're kind of in that sweet spot where you have a lot of the plumbing, even in a lot of these houses, is still cast iron, and they're ready to be turned over. A bank can't finance them because of those issues. So it works great for investors, like us.
Yeah. And one thing I love about Charles, and I think you guys make a great team because, like you said, he's kind of got the old school experience and everything. And then, you being younger, bringing some of the modern stuff into it. It's just a great combination. So you guys make a great team. But one thing I always loved about Charles was he just has that like instructor mindset. I feel like he always is like I've seen, like he partners with you, but then I'm sure you've learned, like he teaches you so much too. And so I've seen him with that with other people as well. So I feel like any lenders on here that are looking to partner with you guys and do some of these deals. And I know, maybe on the equity play that would really come in handy, but he's one of the guys that not only will say, okay, give me your money, but give me your money and let me show you exactly what's going on. This is why, this is the process. This is what so that kind of experience, it's almost like you're making money to learn, you know what I mean? Because so it works well.
Exactly. And that's actually how I ended up doing some of my first deals is, I took a pay cut. I say a pay cut, I still got paid, but I, gave up some of that equity in order to learn and come alongside some of these people and partner of things of that nature. I don't know. Have you heard of the new railway they're bringing in as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brightline.
So Charles actually just sold his office to Brightline.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll be having a stop here probably, I don't know, I would think in the next couple of years, but that's about 15 minutes or so from the subject property that we're about to talk about.
Yeah. And so everybody knows what Brightline is doing. And I know Richard Branson was involved with it for a little bit. I don't know if he's sold out of that now or if he's still involved, but it's kind of changed names a couple of times. But right now it's existing. What they built is a passenger rail. And right now it goes from West Palm Beach down to Miami and back. And it has stops right now, I believe in Fort Lauderdale, and they're putting one in Boca right now, Boca Raton, but it just runs back and forth from West Palm to Miami. And right now, actually where I live is right next to the tracks too. So I watch it happen every day. They're laying a whole second set of tracks now from West Palm all the way up to like Daytona area, right? And then from there, it's going to shoot west and connect Orlando and Disney World. So there's going to be a passenger rail that runs from Miami to Disney World in Orlando, and with stops along the way. And it's a really good thing for the area, and especially for young families and things like that want to, be able to make that journey. And it's a really nice rail too. I've rode it a few times out of Miami for different bases,
awesome.
like that. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, if they're putting in, they're planning on putting in a stop right there, that's definitely huge.
I think it's definitely in the future, because we have the cruise terminal right here. So it'll be a big play from Tampa, Orlando, and those Tampa, Orlando people will come across and probably hop off there and go take a cruise and hopefully stay at our condo and Airbnb complex.
Right. All right. So yeah, so let's talk about these condos. All right. So you guys right now, go ahead and give me the details. I'm going to write it down.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So super excited about it. It's a complex of 16 condos. Super unique that they are condos. It's very rare to find that many units still owned by one owner and able to be deeded individually, which I'm sure your people are educated enough to know why that's important. You get to be in first position. So kind of a rough, quick overview of the deal is we have a total of 8 units available to be financed. 4 of them are actually already accounted for, and we are raising money for the remaining 4.
Okay.
And there will be 2 plays if you are the lender. And if you guys have any questions or anything, please just drop them in the chat. We're happy to help you guys learn, or, even if you are not involved. But
are the 4 remaining, are those 1-1s or the studios?
So the 4 remaining are 2 1-1s and 2 studios, I believe. What's going to happen is, if you are a short-term lender, you'll be in a less preferential position, and only the fact that if someone wants to be in an equity play and they want the 1-bedroom, they're going to get the 1-bedroom, not necessarily the short-term person, right? So just to keep it super simple and keep it clear, we have 4 spots remaining out of the 8. And if you're a lender, you'll be able to put up your money short-term, just as you would in a fix and flip. Or we would love to have you on as a long-term partner, and you basically just to get to receive the cash flow forever, but you will also get your money back within likely a year or 2, and you will be essentially achieving the Burr method without doing any of the work.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit more, like just kind of the details on what that would look like. So let me just do the first option, which is just plain and simple. So number one would be short term, like 3 to 6 months financing. Does that sound right?
Yeah, probably a little bit longer than that. I would think probably somewhere between 6 and 12.
Yeah.
Obviously negotiable, but probably closer to 6 and 12.
Okay, and then what interest are you guys looking for on that?
I
Okay.
usually start out around 10%. Again, it just depends on the term. If you're looking to finance more than one, we can work with you. But probably in that ballpark.
Okay. Okay, so that would be just, basically lending the money. Oh, and what do these things cost again?
Exactly. So the acquisition price is going to be 85,000 for the
That's for
short
the
term.
studio, right?
So that's across the board for the short term play.
Okay, got it.
For the long term play, it's weighted, and we can get into that on this next section.
Okay, so for financing one of these, and that would be first lien position, right? Unless it was
Correct.
unless it was financed through somebody else. But what if they're doing the 85 though? Okay, I got you. So
Yep.
we'll just assume first lien for now.
Yep, it's first lien.
Okay. So that would be option one.
Which should be magic to everybody's ears.
So that's exactly. So that's what we typically talk about when we're talking about lending on a fix and flip deal, right? So this is going to be the promissory note that's connected to the mortgage with you, the first lien position. Is that interest paid monthly, Levi, or do you guys pay all the interest at the end, or do you know how to do what you're doing with that?
Yeah. Again, I don't want to be vague. It really is up to negotiation. We love to pay out the interest at the end if we can, but we also want to be careful not to, promise something to a point that we find ourselves in a hole, right? So we want to be conservative in that way. I have experience doing both, where the interest accrues monthly, and then when you get your money back, you also get your interest. I've also structured it sometimes where if we agree to doing points, the points get paid up front, along with the interest getting paid out on the end. So you kind of get a little taste of both.
Right. Okay, cool. So you guys are open to talk about it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. All right. So if you're a lender and you're interested in this, then, basically just get with Levi, and, if you're in the private money club already, get with Levi and you guys can, talk out the details on this. And Greg was just asking, explain the BRRRR method. So real simply put, Greg, it just means buy, renovate, rent, and refinance, and then repeat. So what that would look like in this manner would be the $85,000 that you're lending. Levi and his team would use that $85,000 to purchase the condo, to rehab, do the work on it. There's small little condos that they're doing, so there's not a lot of rehab work involved. I think they're redoing like the bathroom and putting some new flooring in and doing a little bit of stuff in the kitchen and some paint on the walls, right, Levi? So it's pretty minor work that's involved. So they'll buy it, they'll rehab it, they'll get it set up. And these three are doing short-term rentals, right? Airbnbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They'll get it set up for short-term rental model. And then once it seasons for 6 to 12 months, then they'll be able to go to the bank, show the numbers, and get refinanced through the bank, or get initial financing through the bank, which allows them to then cash out the investor. So once they get to the refinance part of BRRRR, then they get the cash from the bank, use that cash to basically fulfill the first lien position, pay the investor off, and then the investor in that case is gone. So you get your interest, you get your 85,000 back, and then you would just move on to the next deal. They now own that property through the bank and bank financing. So that's the BRRRR method, in general there. So, yeah. All right, so let's talk. So that's the first option. If anybody's interested in these, the positives on this is you're working with a very experienced team in Levi and Charles and their team that they have up there. They do a lot of deals, so they know what they're doing. It's an incredible place for short-term rentals. Everybody wants to go watch these rockets blast off and everything else that the Daytona and Cocoa Beach area have to offer. The place is pretty close to the beach, right? You said a mile or so?
Yeah, it's 3 blocks from the beach. It's about 2 or 3 minutes from the cruise terminal there. So we see a lot of people coming in to, they want to kind of see the area, right? So they'll come in, they'll stay 2, 3, 4 days to kind of see Cocoa Beach, to see Cape Canaveral, and then they'll take off on their cruise, and then they might come back, stay a night or two, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it really is a cool area up there. I really like going up there and hanging out and visiting. We, like when Charles was doing the trainings, I'd go, we'd stay for an extra couple of days with my family just to play around up there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I remember one year they did like the power boat races right off the beach there. It's really, really neat, man. So, and then that one restaurant is where Elon will come and actually watch the rockets lift off. So run into the richest man in America while you're there. How about that? All right. So that's the first option. And then you guys have a second option you wanted to offer people, right?
Yeah, totally. Does anybody have any questions kind of about the more cookie cutter approach before we jump into the second option? You can drop it in the chat. Don't be afraid. Cool. If we see anything, we can bounce back to
it. We're doing good. That means nobody has questions. We're doing a good explaining.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So the second piece is super exciting because you actually get to benefit from the BRRRR strategy, right? So you get to be a BRRRR investor and essentially just keep recycling the capital. You don't ever have to go earn $1 again, is the beauty about it. You keep it working for you. So overview is you've got $85,000 for a studio.
85?
Yep. And then you've got 89,000 for a 1-1. And these are essentially going to be the acquisitions price weighted out per unit by square foot. So to keep everything fair, we've taken the overall purchase price and we've looked at the square footage of each unit, and we've just went ahead and weighted the purchase price appropriately. And then attached to each of those will be a small raise or like capital raise for the rehab costs. So it'll be 15,000 for a studio, and then 20,000 for a 1-1. And so that money would be escrowed. So it's not just going right into our bank account.
What, 21?
20,000. Yes, perfect. Yep. So, yep. Right. Both of those amounts, or excuse me, the rehab amount would obviously be escrowed. That way, whenever we go and do the renovations, that's where we draw it from. And essentially what we'll do is we'll take that money, we'll fix it up. And then, like we said before, in 6 to 12 months, you will get that entire investment back and receive 50% of the projected cash flow from the Airbnbs.
All right, so 6, 12.
So what you should be thinking to yourself is, okay, interesting. If I invest, let's just call it $100,000, and in 6 months to 12 months, I get that money back, how many times could you go make that happen with just that $100,000? The answer would be infinite. However many times you can find the deal, right?
Right. All right. So in this, let's just do it with a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, right?
Sure.
So 89,000, they're going to go into, would you guys be part like 50-50 owners on the deed? Is that how that looks? Or is it done through contract?
Yeah. So we're buying everything through a trust. And so you would be equal beneficiary within the trust. And that would happen upon refinance. So once we hit the refinance is when you become like an official 50% equity partner for the foreseeable future. Right.
So the way that would look, just so everybody knows, is that would be on the promissory note, and that would state, what the terms are. So, the 85,000 is going towards the purchase of this. And then upon, cash out, basically the return of principal would then put you onto the trust as a beneficiary owner of, whatever that comes out to be for the 50-50 ownership of that unit. And you guys can see this stuff a little bit more. If anybody's interested in doing this type of deal, which I think is awesome. If anybody's interested in doing this type of deal with Levi, like they can send you all that. You guys can look it all over and talk about it. But that's a very common way to do these, just so you know. All right, so principal return, and then that would be 50, 50, and 50 on the unit. So profits after expenses and everything, right?
Correct. That's going to be the net. And then also you would have a 50% ownership in the equity of that unit. So if we were to ever sell, you would obviously receive that benefit, but you know, the business plan is not to sell, it's to generate cash flow.
Right. Right. So what's cool. I mean, you know, that's the best part about owning real estate is you have the money coming in from the rental income, plus you have the equity. And, you know, then you look at like, that's where finding an actual deal comes in, because if you could do a little bit of work and get these things, their highest and best use, which is where they're located, is short-term rentals. I mean, those are becoming more and more popular, right? So if you can find a good deal on it to start with, and then turn that piece of property into the highest and best use, and that's how you're going to really boost that equity right away at times too. So you guys might even have, you know, built-in equity that you cash out right from the start with this thing. But
Right.
you know, that's where the you know, that's where it starts to become fun. And then, you know, long term, I mean, again, that's in just such a great area up there that, I mean, it seems to me that would be a great place to want to own real estate, you know. So you got a lot of good stuff happening right here. And then so basically the 89,000 we used it, and then they would finance the 20,000 rehab as well. The 20,000 you're saying would pretty much be like the buy-in cost, right? Is that
not necessary. I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it.
or it's just gonna be less interest, right? We're talking about.
So the 85,000 is essentially going to be your acquisitions price, and then the 20,000 is the money that is devoted to the rehab for your unit.
Right. Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Can somebody's asking Andy, can put beneficiary in the contract just in case? I'm trying to figure out what you mean by that, Andy. Are you talking about like if you were to pass away? You know, Levi, what he's saying by chance?
I guess I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. I believe you said his name was Andy.
Oh, yes, it says, yeah. So I guess you're saying like if he was to pass away, would his interest become that would, yeah, Andy, there's contingency plans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. John says families want a vacation along Florida coast. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place. And like you said, with the cruise boats right there, they get a lot of people that come to Florida to go on a cruise. But they want to hang out in Florida too for a few days, you know, either on the front or back side. Right. And Disney cruises goes out of there exclusively, I think, right?
Yep.
I don't think Disney goes out of Fort Lauderdale or Miami. Maybe they do now, but I know mostly Disney cruises. So you do got a lot of families coming through there.
Yeah. And we're about 45 minutes. We see a lot of people come, they actually want to be near the beach, but they still want to experience Disney. And so what they'll do is they'll come and they'll stay in Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral, and they'll just make the 45-minute drive to Orlando, since it's on, you know, all the parks are on this side of Orlando, which is awesome. But
yeah, that's the one thing with Orlando is there's in Disney World, there's no beach, right? So you're right. I mean, people do, they'll kind of get both at the same time. So, all right, cool. So it's a great area. I mean, this is a hell of an opportunity, in my opinion, if somebody wants to, you know, start looking at Florida real estate, actually owning long-term for that long-term income coming in. Otherwise, if anybody's just looking to move 85,000 and get a nice return on it, shorter term, 6 to 12 months, I mean, you can't go with a better team to lend your money to. All right, Claire. So put your questions in, guys. I want to get all these questions answered. Who keeps unit rented and clean? Great question. So you're going to talk a little bit about the management, Levi?
Yeah, so we would have you guys fly down and clean the units. No, I'm just kidding. So actually we would have a on-site, on-site's probably the wrong term, but we would have a management team that's included in the operating expenses of the units, right? So we're at a kind of a unique advantage there because we have 16 units that'll be used short term. We can actually kind of compress some of those cleaning fees. A lot of our competitors, since they're just one-offs, don't have that luxury. But to answer your question very directly, is our team is responsible for that. Our property management will be turning over the units, making sure they're beautiful, making sure they're taken care of.
Absolutely. Let's see. Benny answer, are you looking at additional expenses if do deal two? So if somebody, Claire, what do you mean by additional expenses?
She might mean maybe like closing costs or
Gotcha.
attorney fees and stuff like that. No, it'd just be all in 85 plus the 20. We're not here to hide anything crazy and cover up a bunch of fees and make more money like that. No.
Yeah. And Charles is, licensed broker in Florida. I know he's doing some of the EXP now. Are you licensed too, Levi?
I'm actually not. No, not yet, but that seems to be the way everything's going.
Yeah, it's funny because investors always have different opinions on whether they should be, because there's a lot you can do not being licensed as an investor. You can, because as a licensed investor, you kind of got to disclose your license and all that a lot of times. But
yeah.
All right, cool. All right, what other questions, Claire? Yeah, Claire, these guys, and they own a lot. I know Charles, at least he owns a lot of other real estate up there too. So, they have good teams, management companies, things like that they use. So this stuff will get knocked out quick and be ready to roll. All right, what other questions do you guys have for Levi? And he sent me over, he has a bunch of additional information on these. I know you sent me like a proposal, like a full proposal and everything, Levi. Levi's going to start working on a perfect loan proposal, so everybody has it. But for right now, he has basically the equivalent of a perfect loan proposal already put together. So he can send that over to you if you guys have any questions or anything like that. Let's just connect on Private Money Club or send me an email and I'll do an introduction for you with Levi. But all right, well, it looks like we don't have any other questions coming in. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up or talk about? Well, here's one. Is there a time? Oh yeah, what's your time frame look like?
So honestly, it's going to be first come, first serve. So we'll probably be closing these out. I would think, we've got title ready. We're just having a few of the legal documents reviewed. So I would think we'll probably end up closing these within a week or two once the last couple spots are filled. With that being said, no pressure. If you guys want to talk or do a Zoom with myself and my partner, he's got a little bit more gray hair than I do. We'd be happy to jump on with you guys or have a call, whatever works.
Yeah. All right. What's the expected cash flow per unit?
So your expected cash flow per unit, this is probably a pretty conservative projection, but you're looking at probably around, I would say 4 to 5K per year. But the real kicker to focus on is the fact that you will be getting your capital back right around that year mark, right? So you're going to be compounding that annual return with none of your own money in the deal.
Right.
John asks, how did you find these 16 units? We can't tell you that. That's a secret. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, believe it or not, it's a crazy story. I have been meeting with this seller for 2.5, 3 years now. Literally since I started, I was putting out bandit signs at 12 o'clock in the morning, trying to make things happen. And he wanted to sell me a mobile home. And I said, no, I don't really think I'm interested, but do you have anything else? Really important question for you guys to be asking if you're doing any of your own marketing. But he told me he had these condos, and sure enough, here we are about to buy them.
That's awesome, man. I feel like the best deals always have a story behind them, because like the deal and by the way, I know like 4 or 5 of you guys are funding Chris's flip, and I'll email you a little later today. That deal is going to happen. There's it almost fell off, but it is going to happen. And but Chris was telling me the story on how they got that one. It was somebody like it's a terrible story, and there's a reason they have to replace all the carpeting and the drywall up until like the knee level in the house. But it's just all these deals always have a story behind them. It's interesting in this business. You ever go in any houses yet, Levi, and just find the craziest stuff in the attics or behind walls?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I've actually shifted a lot into a virtual model for the houses.
Okay.
So I haven't been in many houses lately in terms of unless I'm taking them down and like keeping them.
Right. Okay, cool. Are you guys bringing any other opportunities? You have your eyes on anything else you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, there's always like the basic, flips we have moving. If you want to fund one of those, we just have like the typical uh flip that we have somebody do the purchase price on. You can do some of the rehab if you want, or we can bring the rehab to the table and we'll flip it in 3 to 6 months.
Is the 15,000 part of the 85 or in addition?
It's in addition. So the best way to look at it is the 85 and the 89 are your acquisitions price for the unit. And then the 15 or the 20 is your escrow funds for the rehab.
Right. Let's see, network, let them know you can help. Yep. All right. All right, cool, Levi. Well, it looks like we got through everything. So, so I appreciate everybody being on, but yeah, Levi, just what's the best way to get a hold of you? Do you want me to put your email in here or phone?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you guys my cell phone number. It's 321 693 3176. That's 321. Here, I'll just put it in the chat.
I got you. I read it.
Oh, thanks, man.
There you go.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's probably the easiest way to reach me. If you guys want to chat, or if you're working on any deals that I can help with, give me a shout.
All right, cool, Levi. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk here soon this week, and I'm sure that you'll have some people reaching out to you. And if anybody, would prefer email or something, just let me know. I can introduce you. Or if you're watching this later on a recording, I can connect you with Levi. He'll also be in the Private Money Club, so you guys can connect on there. Again, everybody's kind of new to Private Money Club beta, so give us a little time to make sure everyone's, the chat functions and everything are working. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. And if anybody needs anything, we'll be around all week. And Levi, I appreciate it, man. Have a great day.
Awesome, guys.
Tell Charles I said hi. We'll talk to you guys soon.
I will. Sounds good. I'm gonna hop off.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right, everybody. We will see you all this Wednesday. I know Chris has a pretty cool guest on. I'm going to be talking about like starting businesses and websites and marketing and things like that. Sean was telling me it's a pretty neat presentation. Like I said, if anybody's in that Chris deal that he had last week, we did fund it. So it's the 500 grand or whatever got funded. So I'll be emailing you details about that. And then if anybody's looking to lend or borrow, just shoot me a message and kind of let you know what's out there and hop on Private Money Club. We'll go from there. Everyone have a great week. Thank you.